to the Mindset RX podcast. My name is Tom Foxley and I help functional athletes gain a champ's mindset. So a subject that's come up a lot in all kinds of things, specifically the free Facebook group I run. And I've had a bunch of athletes as a whole message me, and I've realized it's coming up more and more with the athletes I'm working with in the inner athlete performance camp. But it's definitely a subject in the free Facebook group that I run, Mindset for Functional Athletes. Nice little plug there. And it's the subject of nutrition. And we seem to have this mystique over nutrition, this air of untouchability over it, if that's even a word. This thing that, because it's such an emotional subject, it must be something very, very different to any other aspect of mindset. But in reality, when you come down to it, the same principles apply. It's an action driven by emotions and thoughts. Just because there's a bit more emotion attached to it does not mean that we need to treat it any differently. And yes, there are eating disorders and all this kind of stuff, but I'm talking not for the extremes of this. I'm talking to you if you are someone who eats well most of the time, but then has crazy days where they just eat all kinds of crap. Specifically, I'm talking at the weekends. Or if you're someone who chronically undereats, just like consistently maybe missing out on 500 to 600 calories a day, or someone who just has a bit too much crap, who's not he always finds himself snacking. Someone who is not quite where they want to be with nutrition, but and then who knows it will get them a huge amount of progress in, especially in skill work and endurance stuff. You have less pounds on you or less kilos on you, you're going to be able to move your body weight better, and able to move yourself better. You're going to be better fueled. We know all of this, and I'm not here to give you nutrition advice. I'm here to give you mindset advice. What we have to become, and this is going to be a quick podcast because I just want to kind of put my thoughts across. What we have to overcome is that this is not an issue with food. This is a mindset issue. If you are finding comfort in food, this is not an issue in food. This is a mindset issue. If you're not giving yourself enough time to eat or prep your food, this is not an issue with time. This is an issue with mindset, because we know that our actions never, ever occur outside of our belief system. We need to, instead of looking for new behaviors, change the driver instead. And this is what drives me mad with the nutrition industry. They're so quick, and who are they? But they are so quick to give you a new nutrition plan without any fundamental understanding of why it's working or why it won't work for you, or what your individual approach to it. They're so quick to give you a 14-day challenge to drop however many percentage. They're so quick to give you an ebook to download on how to eat for a weightlifter and all this kind of stuff. But the issue isn't, and it never has been, as I'll say time after time and after time, a lack of information. The issue is a lack of implementation, and we don't implement because we don't know enough about implementing. We don't implement because we are self-sabotaging, because we get in our own way, because we put up these blockades, because we consistently go back to overeating. And this is the issue. It's nothing to do with the food. The food is just a mechanism for fueling ourselves. And the more we disassociate from the emotional connection from it and just see it as a resource to use, just like a barbell, just like a book, just like a PC or the internet. A PC, so retro. The more we see it as just a tool, the more we can utilize that to harness who we want to be and to encourage who we want to be to shine. So what do we do? How do we begin to see our mindset around this and begin to see how it's self-sabotaging? Well, we go back to the 4 things we always go back to. What is your language around nutrition? Is it I'm always overweight, or I always have been overweight, or I'm just heavy, I'm just like a heavy person? Or is it I'm skinny? Or is it I'm different to everyone else? What's your language around this? What are the things you say? I don't have time to eat properly, or my kids take up all my time. What is the language you're using around this? Because this is a key indicator of your beliefs. And as I already said, we never act outside of our belief system. So there's that side. What is your emotional state before you kind of fuck up on the nutrition side? So how do you emotionally feel about nutrition? Is it something that it should feel easy? It should feel like, oh, this is just something I do. But if it results in confusion or overwhelm or even anxiety and stress, if it results in just feeling apathetic towards it, or if it feels unsavory in some way, which is probably which is a completely incidental pun, if it just doesn't feel right, if there's some emotional resistance to it, or if you feel like the emotional connection of safety to it as well, this is something you need to be aware of. So we have the language, we have the emotional state. Both of these are telling us about our mindset around it. And then on top of that, we have our physical symptoms. Like, so how does your body feel when you consider food? How does your body feel when you interact with food? And this is really key when it comes down to nutrition, because it's telling us something about your mindset. The gut-mind connection is huge, and it works both ways. What you think about, it influences your gut, and what you put into your gut influences your mind. I'm not going to go into it because, quite honestly, it's not my area of expertise, and I don't want to put any crappy knowledge out there, but we know for sure it works both ways. So let's feel the physical symptoms, and that's going to give you a really good idea of mindset. And then finally, let's look at your physical behaviors. What are your physical behaviors around food? Is it snacking the whole time? Is it under eating? Is it not hydrating properly? Is it avoiding supplementation or relying on supplementation? What is it that's really kind of the behavior aspect? And what we don't want to do is try and change the behavior without changing the mindset, because we know from all the times that we've been on like 30-day nutrition days challenges, 60-day nutrition challenges, we know that it doesn't work, and we know that it's futile to keep on trying to change the outcome without changing the drivers. And the drivers are what we need to change. The drivers are indicated by all these things I've been through before: our language, our emotional state, all this kind of stuff. And what you need to do as an athlete is stop looking for an external solution. Start becoming more curious, more inquisitive, more reflective about what goes on in your mindset. And it's only when you do that will you gather change, or will you gather momentum, and will nutrition finally feel easy for you. Because I'm guessing the very fact that you're listening just 7 minutes in, but the very fact you're listening 7 minutes to me ranting and raving this is because there's a story about nutrition that's stopping you from getting where you want to be. And it's only by changing the story that you're going to change the outcome. So first of all, we have to hear that story, and you're going to do that by hearing your language, being aware of your emotional state. And just as a kind of a general broad sweeping brush that applies not to everyone but the general population, guys, your language is probably going to be more prominent. Girls, your emotional state is probably going to be more prominent. Probably. There's no absolute rule of thumb, and this is a kind of a sweeping rule that missed out nuance, but it's a good rule of thumb to go for. So listen to your language. What does it say? What's your inner athlete telling you? And then what's the emotional state of the inner athlete? Because these are driving you towards behavior. We need to change these in order to change the outcome. I hope you enjoy the show. If you feel that there's someone in your box, there's a friend that you think needs to hear this about nutrition, obviously do it in a light way as well. I'm not going to say be a dick and go out there and say, look, you're fat, you need to listen to this. Don't do that, because that's awful. But if there's someone who you think is going to find this useful, please share it, send it with some love, and leave a 5-star review on iTunes as well, because my ego is growing immensely through the roof at the moment as I see more and more 5-star reviews coming on iTunes. So I'll hopefully see your review, but also I'll hopefully see you in my free Facebook group, Mindset for Functional Athletes, where I'm going to be giving a more complete breakdown of nutrition, the psychology of nutrition, the mindset of nutrition, in order to get you where you want to be and where you deserve to be, and so much closer to your limitless potential. Until I speak to you soon. Until I thought I was going to come out with like some really nice, like kind of clean ending to this, but as always, it's going to be me rambling until I say goodbye, and I'll speak to you soon.